Death is one of the greatest mysteries we face as human beings. Since time immemorial, various cultures and spiritual traditions have sought to answer profound questions about what happens after the last breath. One of the most widespread beliefs across different religions and philosophies is that the soul, as the immortal essence of being, undergoes a process of transition in the days following death. This video explores the spiritual accounts and teachings regarding the first 9 days after death, a period that many traditions consider crucial for the soul on its journey to the afterlife. During this time, it is said that the soul experiences a separation from the material world, encounters with its earthly deeds, and, in some cases, preparations for its next spiritual stage. What does this process mean? How do different cultures interpret it? Let us delve into the mystery of what happens to the soul during these initial days of its journey. The soul of a person does not vanish at the moment of death. Instead, a new journey begins, and the first 9 days of that journey are especially significant. In ancient times, people treated this period with special care and attention. This knowledge was passed down through generations in various cultures and religions. Although each tradition describes this process differently, it is remarkable how much these descriptions have in common. Today, I will share with you what happens to the soul during each stage of this important transition and how we can support our loved ones during this time. Why are these 9 days considered so special for the soul? During this time, there is a gradual separation of the subtle energetic shell from the material world. Just as a newborn undergoes specific developmental stages in the first days of life, the soul also goes through important phases of transformation after physical death. This period can be compared to awakening from a deep sleep. The soul needs time to recognize its new state and begin to adapt. During the first 9 days, it remains closely tied to the physical world, to the places and people that were significant during its life. It is a time when the barrier between worlds becomes especially thin. Interestingly, the number 9 appears independently in the traditions of various peoples. In Orthodox Christianity, the remembrance of the 9th day is associated with the 9 angelic choirs who assist the soul on its journey. In Buddhism, this period is called the bardo, an intermediate state where the soul gradually releases its earthly attachments. Similarly, in ancient Slavic beliefs, the 9 days were considered a time when the soul bid farewell to the earthly world and prepared for its transition to the spiritual realm. During these 9 days, the soul undergoes an important process, from a complete connection with the physical world to readiness for further spiritual development. The first 3 days, a period of adjustment. The first 3 days after physical death are the most critical and likely the most challenging for the soul. At the moment of death, the soul does not immediately understand what has happened. It finds itself in a state akin to confusion, like someone who has woken up suddenly in an unfamiliar place. The soul tries to comprehend what is happening and to adjust to its new condition. In the first hours, the soul often remains near the body. It can see everything happening around it: family members grieving, doctors or rescuers if the death occurred in an accident. The soul hears conversations, senses the emotions of those around it, but can no longer physically interact with the world. This can cause it unease and anxiety. On the second day, the soul begins to realize that something irreversible has occurred. It may visit places it frequented in life and spend time with its loved ones. At this moment, the soul especially needs prayers and kind words from its family. The calmness of those close to it, their bright memories, and their love help the soul transition more easily during this period of adjustment. By the third day, the soul starts to grasp its new condition more deeply and begins to understand that there is no returning to its previous life. During this time, it is crucial for family members to avoid despair or excessive expressions of grief. Intense negative emotions can tether the soul to the earthly plane, making its progress more difficult. Days 4 to 6. Reviewing life. From the 4th to the 6th day, the soul begins an incredible journey of profound reflection on its life. It reviews all significant events, encounters, and actions, as though flipping through the pages of its life's book. The soul not only sees these events, but also perceives their true meaning and their impact on others. During this period, the soul may encounter those who departed earlier, family members, friends, or spiritual guides. These encounters bring comfort and help the soul gradually release its ties to the physical world. The souls of loved ones often serve as guides, helping it understand and accept its new state. This is why people often recount seeing deceased relatives before passing away. They come to guide the departing soul. On the fifth day, the soul undergoes a remarkable transformation in perception. It begins to see the world in a completely different way. Earthly concerns and problems that once seemed so important fade into the background. The soul gains an understanding of deeper spiritual laws and the interconnectedness of all living beings. It starts to perceive its role within the unity of existence. By the sixth day, the soul gains a new understanding of itself. It no longer identifies with the physical body or the earthly roles it played. It becomes aware of its eternal spiritual essence and views its earthly life as merely a stage in its ongoing development. This realization helps the soul continue its journey. While it may still feel an emotional connection to its loved ones, this connection becomes more subtle and spiritual. Days 7 to 9, letting go and moving on. The last 3 days of this 9-day period are a time of closure and preparation for the next stage of the soul's existence. On the 7th day, the soul attains a special clarity and serenity. It no longer seeks to return to its former life, but may still observe what happens in the material world. During this time, the soul notices how its loved ones are gradually reorganizing their lives, learning to move forward while keeping its memory alive. On the 8th day, the soul releases the final bonds connecting it to the material world. It no longer feels the need to linger in familiar places or near its loved ones. It now understands that the bond with them can continue through prayers, fond memories, and good deeds done in its honor. Like a bird preparing to leave the nest, the soul knows it is time to embark on a new path. By the 9th day, the soul is fully prepared to transition to the next level of existence. It is no longer bound to any specific place or time, but exists in another dimension, where earthly limitations no longer apply. The soul gains a broader and deeper perspective of the universe, realizing the infinite connections that unite all things. Though the final thread connecting the soul to the physical world becomes as delicate as a strand of silk, it is never fully broken. Love and memories remain bridges between worlds. During these final days, it is especially important for loved ones to maintain a bright and loving image of the departed, recalling happy moments shared and performing good deeds in their memory. This helps the soul move into its new stage of existence with peace and ease. How can we help the soul of a loved one during these important 9 days? The most important thing is to maintain inner calm and positive thoughts. In moments of grief, this may seem almost impossible, but our emotional state profoundly influences the soul. Excessive pain and despair can tether the soul to the earthly plane, creating additional challenges for it. Prayer is one of the most effective ways to help the soul. It doesn't matter whether you pray according to the rituals of a specific religion or simply address higher forces in your own words. A heartfelt prayer, spoken sincerely, will always be heard. During these days, it is helpful to arrange a memorial service at a church or meditate with kind wishes for the departed soul. At home, it's important to maintain a peaceful and serene environment. You can light a candle, place a photo of your loved one along with some of their favorite items, and share kind words or memories. Remembering happy moments shared together and expressing gratitude for the good they brought into your life helps the soul in its journey. Performing good deeds in the memory of the departed is especially meaningful. This could involve helping those in need, caring for nature or animals, or any act that brings light and kindness to the world. Insights from near-death experiences. Remarkable testimonies about what happens after death come from people who have experienced clinical death. Many describe similar experiences, a sense of peace and lightness, the ability to see their body from above, and encounters with deceased loved ones. For example, an intensive care doctor in the city of Tver recounted a patient who, after being revived, described in detail everything that had happened in the operating room while unconscious. Across various cultures, surprisingly similar descriptions of post-death experiences are found. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Bardo Thodol, and Slavic legends, modern researchers studying near-death experiences have collected thousands of accounts that align with this ancient knowledge. Interestingly, even people who were previously distant from religion or spiritual practices report similar experiences after clinical death. They describe encounters with deceased family members, a sense of absolute love and understanding, and a transformed perspective on life and death. These experiences are often so profound that they completely reshape the person's worldview. A message of hope and love. Dear friends, remember that the death of a loved one is not the end, but a transition to a new stage of the soul's existence. Our grief is natural and understandable, but we must not let it consume our hearts entirely. The soul of our loved one continues its journey, and our bright thoughts, prayers, and good deeds help light their path. Each soul journeys through this profound 9-day period in its own unique way, yet one constant remains. The love and support of their family and friends can ease this transition. Our loved ones do not simply disappear, they live on in our hearts, in our memories, and in the positive impact they left behind. While we may no longer hold them physically or hear their voice, the spiritual bond between souls endures, unbroken and eternal. Take care of yourselves and cherish those dear to you. Value every shared moment, and if the time has come to bid farewell, know that your love, kind thoughts and prayers will be a guiding light for the soul of your loved one as they embark on their new journey. May faith always remain in your heart, reminding you that one day all souls will reunite in that beautiful place where goodbyes and separations no longer exist. Thank you for joining me today and for exploring this deep and meaningful topic together. If you found this video helpful, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. There are many more thought-provoking discussions ahead about the spiritual journey, the mysteries of the soul, and the essence of life itself. Be sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next conversation. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves and hold your loved ones close.